to Money Conversations, a weekly experiment in money exploration rather than money solutions. These are mini interviews with all kinds of people in all walks of life, all about where they are with money right now. I'm Megan Potter, and this week's mini money interview is with Gwynne. Thank you for joining us, Gwynne. It's lovely to have you.
Thank you for having me.
I'm going to ask you a few really short questions that are kind of meant to tap into where you are right now in your relationship with money. And the idea is that the answers be spontaneous and just like whatever comes up to share them. There's no such thing as a wrong or a right answer. There's nothing I'm really looking for. It's just kind of a conversation about where you and money are right now. Are you ready?
I am.
All right. If I say money, you say...
Yay.
If I say money, you feel...
Yay!
What I really want from money is...
More?
Oh, interesting.
Ooh, more.
One significant money memory or story. So if we're talking about money, what's the moment or story that just kind of rises up that you automatically think of?
The first Christmas that I knew I was poor.
Oh.
I wouldn't be able to really pinpoint how old I was because pretty much everything before I was 13 is really fuzzy for me. But I remember one Christmas when all of a sudden there were tons and tons of presents everywhere, and I would never had that before. Had never ever had that before, and all of a sudden there's tons of Christmas presents. It was right around the time my parents were splitting up, and at first I thought it was the greatest thing in the world, and then I overheard my parents saying something about donations, and thank goodness that they were given all of that. Wow. And there was just that realization that, oh, we can't have our own Christmas unless somebody else decides to be nice.
Wow. Yeah. I can totally the first time I knew we were poor is almost an identical story, except my mom was actually able to buy the presents that year and kept talking about how amazing it was that she could buy us presents for once. And I had never noticed the lack until she pointed it out. That's interesting. And I was right around that same age. I was 12. What an interesting thing to think about in our relationships with our kids and everything, how they experience things different than us.
Shifted. I refused to let my son cling to Santa.
Really?
Because when growing up poor and you go to school and all the kids talk about all the stuff that Santa brought them, and Santa didn't bring you anything.
Yeah.
Santa was very painful for me. Christmas was very painful for me. And I'm like, why do we keep perpetuating this myth that really is a very privileged myth?
Yeah.
Santa is a very privileged cultural myth.
In the way we enact him, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not just be good and you'll get lots of presents.
Yeah.
It's be good and have parents who have enough money to buy you presents.
But of course we don't distinguish that, so the kids think that they weren't good.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. And so no matter how good you were, you don't get presents.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm bad. There's so many layers to that cultural myth that I learned directly, specifically because of the poverty that I grew up on.
Yeah. Yeah. How is that story, that Christmas story, how is it still influencing your money now? Or your relationship with money now? Is it?
It just makes me very much more aware of how blessed I am now. Looking back, and I'm not saying that I'm perfect by any means. I still have lots of drama, but it makes me aware. I don't have to have that fear anymore. I always made sure I went all out with my son for Christmas. Like every year, he got this one huge gift. For a few years when he was little, it was like those Power Wheels trucks. He was driving around his own motorcycle and his own Hummer for a while. So I tend to give a lot because I know how much giving changes people's lives from being a receiver.
Right.
And I know that not enough is given.
Is enough being given to you?
No, I don't let people give to me very much.
Well, that's interesting.
That's something I struggle with too. I struggle to ask for help.
Yeah.
I will be darn near drowning and just kind of sitting there hoping someone will notice while I'm trying to pull my way out before I refuse. And even when somebody notices, I'll often say, no, I got it, I'm fine, I can do it myself.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, like that's definitely a thing that I see, especially with generous people. But it's, I mean, for money to come in, we need to be willing to receive it.
Yeah, that's something I've been working on a lot, especially the last few months. I've been pulled kicking and screaming in directions that I've always known I needed to go, but I kept skating around them and directly confronting my inability to ask for and accept help is something I have been working on in earnest.
I love that. Directly confronting my inability to ask for and receive help. Yeah, that's gorgeous. Okay, how often do you pay attention to your money?
All the time.
All the time. Like every day you look in your accounts and...
Yes.
Really? Have you always done that?
No, not always. I'm very experimental and very sort of research oriented with everything that I do. Like I'm way woo, but I approach it from a very much I'm doing research into how this works.
Yeah.
What does it work? What I notice, and every time I stop doing it, the result is immediate. If I pay attention, I get more of it. If I check my accounts, I track every single penny.
Yeah.
Every single penny that comes in, I know where it came from. I know what it was. Every single penny that goes out. And I don't just say thank you. I celebrate it. Like money for me is yay.
Yeah.
I celebrate every single bit of it. And when I stop doing that, maybe I get into a funk. Maybe things aren't working as well. Maybe I just get distracted. When I stop doing that, I notice that I've stopped tracking money because I stopped having money.
Wow. That's really profound. I love that you're doing the experiment. The experiment is why I asked the question, because I suspected that as, you know, being connected. So it's so cool that you're already tracking the results of that. Gwen, you know, I am so grateful that you were willing to sit in the hot seat and let us interview you and share all of this with the world at large. It takes great courage to share your relationship with money with people you haven't met, and because it's not a thing we usually talk about. So I'm really, really grateful for your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And if those of you watching want to join in the conversation with and about your money, you can comment on the videos, you can share this on social media with your peeps, you can subscribe to the channel, or you can go ahead and raise your hand to be the next person in the hot seat so I can interview you for your very own money conversation and we can see what comes up when you and I get together. Thank you so much for watching and for being interviewed and for talking to us about your money. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.